lovers, it is G-Swiss here, and I'm here today to talk about some of my comfort authors. If you didn't know, this is a 7 on Sunday topic, and I am the host of 7 on Sunday. I will link the Goodreads page down in the description where you can check it out and you can participate in a topic in the future, or you can suggest a topic. This week's 7 on Sunday topic I thought about because, yes, we have comfort reads sometimes, but don't you have that one author that you go to for all things comfort? Whether it be a plot-driven story, a character-driven story, whether it's going to be a fantasy, a romance, maybe a sci-fi or a thriller or a horror book, whatever makes you comfortable. Do you have preferred authors that you would go to in times where you are wanting that kind of comfort read? So yeah, that was pretty much the inspiration behind the 7 on Sunday concept. So I guess without further ado, I'm going to talk about some authors who I go to for comfort and talk about like some genres I go to comfort, but mostly like the authors that write in these genres slash category and pretty much the reasons why I find their readings comforting most of all. So first of all, I'm going to start off with an author that's a little bit obvious to me personally, and that, my friends, is Veronica Roth. So from time to time, I reread the Divergent series for comfort, and also from time to time, I reread Chosen Ones for comfort. I personally don't keep going back to the Carve the Mark series because personally I don't find that one as comforting. I think it was because the controversy surrounding it, I just never really got myself invested due to the controversy and the poor writing choices made in that one particular book and, you know, the call for sensitivity readers afterwards. However, Chosen Ones and Divergent I keep on going back to. And what I love about Veronica Roth is the way that she writes trauma. The way that she writes trauma is absolutely realistic, and it's something that resonates with me from a younger age. You know, with Divergent, that book series really resonated with me as a teenager, and Chosen Ones really resonates with me right now in my mid/late 20s. So that's why I found myself rereading it and absolutely loving it. But I also really love the themes that she puts into her books. I really love the way that she writes sci-fi, and in this case, fantasy. Because this book, it seems like a sci-fi concept, but there's fantasy magic in this particular book, and oh my goodness, I need the sequel now. But a sequel I don't think has been confirmed. I really love this book so much, and I really need more in this world. Please, Veronica, give me more. I found so much comfort in my rereads of Chosen Ones and in my rereads of Divergent and Insurgent. Allegiant is probably not a comfort read. However, I just find these books comforting because I love the characters in them and how much Veronica Roth's characters do resonate with me. My next comfort author that I will be bringing up is Laini Taylor. I find Laini Taylor's books absolutely comforting even though the themes can get dark. For some reason, she just has this very whimsical writing style that just hooks me in, but also at times I technically dream about this dreamlike writing style. I reckon that she writes in a way that just feels like comfort food. Maybe even like a nice warm cup of cocoa. I don't know. When I think about my first reading experience of Strange the Dreamer, which was 5 years ago, all I felt was comfort. And I was going through a pretty tough time as well. I was pretty sad at the time, and I would revisit this book just so I could feel that same comfort. I felt the same way rereading the Daughter of Smoke and Bone trilogy, and I'm really happy that I reread the Daughter of Smoke and Bone trilogy after I read the Strange the Dreamer duology, because honestly, if I didn't read this duology, I wouldn't have given Laini Taylor a second chance, and Laini Taylor is now one of my favorite authors of all time. I pretty much have this duology to thank. And now I'm going to mention a romance author duo, and that, my friends, is Christina Lauren. I have recently found myself just wanting to purchase all of Christina Lauren's backlist. I just get very much excited when I think about a new Christina Lauren book that I have to pick up. I'm pretty sure I've read somewhere between 4 to 5 Christina Lauren books so far, and I just keep buying them. I get so excited thinking about them because Christina Lauren, I don't actually know whether their writing is like that special. It's just more their characters and their concepts and the situations that they put their characters in. I just get very excited about the way that this author duo writes those scenarios in particular. I don't know what it is, but I'm always intrigued in what Christina Lauren has got to write about. And I believe that's all thanks to the Unhoneymooners. If I didn't read the Unhoneymooners, I honestly don't know whether I would have been invested or intrigued in Christina Lauren's writing. I really cannot imagine my life without reading the Unhoneymooners and, like, you know, where it is now where I'm reading all these Christina Lauren novels. I just get so excited about these novels and I cannot wait to read more, but I really loved the concept of this novel, and that's what really encouraged me to continue on. And honestly, I find their writing super comforting regardless of what kind of romance they're writing about. And now I want to mention Tessa Bailey, who is definitely one of my comfort authors. I love their Hot and Hammered series. I absolutely loved their Bellinger Sisters duology, this here being the first book, It Happened One Summer, which is the first book I read from them, and I absolutely loved it. I adored this book so much. I love Tessa Bailey's writing style. I also love the way that they write romance and angst and steamy scenes, oh my goodness. They're just so good at writing such comforting stories, and I just found so much comfort in these stories, although there was a lot of angst. And yes, indeed, I felt that angst. However, oh my goodness, do I eat that angst up for breakfast. Absolutely loved It Happened One Summer, and that was what solidified that I needed to read more by Tessa Bailey. And since then, I've read, I believe, 5 books by Tessa Bailey, and I cannot wait to continue on. I love this book series. I love the book series that they're putting out right now, like their companion series, and I cannot wait to read more from them. I just eat these up like candy. They are comfort food in that way. And now I gotta bring up a pretty obvious comfort author. I mean, some of the books are comforting and some of them are just pretty terrifying, I don't know, but I return to these book series because I love the characters a lot. Yes, of course, this author writes some worlds that we're familiar with, but I am also very much in it because of the characters and also because of the dialogue at times. Like, these books don't necessarily feel like regular fantasy novels because they're just so easy to read, but they're very addictive. And yes, guys, I'm gonna bring Sarah J Maas up. I consider Sarah J Maas to be the ultimate comfort author for me. Ever since I started reading the Throne of Glass series years ago, I just honestly got addicted to her writing style. And no, I don't even know why I'm picking up ACOTAR. I think the first ACOTAR book was like the easiest book to pick up from my shelf, but this book in particular is not the comfort read. Actually, yeah, no, if anything, this book right now that I'm holding is like the least comforting read that I've read from her. It's probably everyone's least favorite book from her, but trust me, every other book is so good from her, especially Tower of Dawn. Tower of Dawn, for me, is like the ultimate comfort read by Sarah J Maas. I also loved The Assassin's Blade. It hurt at times, but oh my goodness, just to see the prequel characters and everything come into the rest of the series eventually, I loved that comfort. I loved that idea of a comfort read. Just seeing how everything comes together and how these characters meet and they build relationship. Like, I love the relationship building in the Throne of Glass series. I love it in the ACOTAR series, and I liked that I started to see it in the Crescent City series. I honestly cannot wait for more character building. I find Sarah J Maas to be a comfort author, and I don't necessarily regret reading any of her books because they're kind of guilty pleasures to me personally. And I just find so much comfort and so much joy reading Sarah J Maas's books because a lot of the time, especially recently, they have been addressing mental health, and honestly, I feel seen. Now, another ultimate comfort author that I've got to mention is Julie Kagawa. I love Julie Kagawa's books because she is a queen at urban fantasy. Like, you can totally tell that the Iron Fae series has definitely influenced the kind of fae fiction that we read today in young adult fantasy. I love the influences that are found within this series. I just love this series so much because I find it to be a comfort series, but also the Talon Saga is super comforting, especially to those who love young adult dystopian, and also Shadow of the Fox. Oh my goodness, like the slow burn trope is perfect in that series. It just felt so comforting to read, and I loved the friendship between the two characters. I love the way that Julie Kagawa writes, and a lot of the time I do go to her series for comfort. She's definitely an ultimate comfort author for me and is a master at writing young adult fantasy, in my opinion. And I also have to mention Elise Kovac. I swear, I not only reread the Air Awakens Chronicles to try to remember everything, I also attempted to reread it because I just had a feeling that it was going to be my new comfort read. And you know what? Elise Kovac is a comfort author for me. I will constantly go back to Elise Kovac, whether I reckon that her books are going to be the best or whether they're just going to be okay and not amazing. I mean, the spin-off series to this, not necessarily my favorite, but I will constantly keep going back to Elise Kovac because I find her writing so comforting, especially the Solaris Empire story. I mean, in the first series, not the second series. You guys can even see my Elise Kovac shelf. It's like almost filled with Elise Kovac. I will constantly collect her books because I find her writing comforting. And no, unlike other new adult romance authors, she doesn't necessarily write too much steam. However, I think that the tension in terms of the slow burn and everything and the angst that she writes into her books, they are perfection. The way that she writes the dark and mysterious love interest, yeah, she does it very well in the Air Awakens series, and this is one of my favorite series ever. I love Elise Kovac, and I will read her other books like even Married to Magic for comfort. Second last author that I want to bring up that I consider a comfort author, and I've considered a comfort author since I got into their books, is Cassandra Clare. I go to her books for comfort. I mean, also obviously to get my heart shredded to pieces, but I mean, I technically go to Cassandra Clare for comfort as well, and oh my goodness, let me tell you, these books are comforting. I mean, I initially read these books back to back to back, and now I only get like one Cassandra Clare book every second year, and I personally find that unfair, but hey, you know, if that is her writing schedule, then we've all got to live with it. But oh my goodness, whenever I get a new book by her and I see that it's like a chunker, like this one right here is like 600 pages, I get so so excited because I just know that it's 600 pages of comfort, but also 600 pages of pain. It's just something that I always have to prepare for, despite all the pain and the angst that we feel when we read these books, especially Chain of Iron, oh my goodness, or Clockwork Princess, or Clockwork Prince for that matter. These books, you know, they're painful. At the end of the day, they're comfort reads because you spend so much time with the characters that she's built, that she's established, that you essentially grow up with, and it's perfection. And the last comfort author that I've got to mention on this list today has probably become obvious to those who have been watching my channel for the last year, and that, my friends, is Jennifer L Armentrout. Jennifer L Armentrout has been a comfort author for a lot of readers for years, for understandable reasons. Her books are very comforting, and not even just the Blood and Ash series. I absolutely adored the Harbinger trilogy. It is one of my favorite trilogies. I just enjoyed that urban fantasy slash paranormal goodness, and I am getting into the Lux series right now, and I've got so many other series that I am wanting to get into by Jennifer L Armentrout, just purely for comfort. I actually read the Blood and Ash series for more than comfort. I think it's because I resonate with Poppy a lot. However, the rest of the series that I have on my TBR by her, I have just purely wanted to read for comfort reasons. I'm technically going into them with very low expectations, but the books just might exceed them. I'm very much looking forward to reading them. I just keep on going back to JLA, and I, a lot of the time, will love them. There will be an occasional mishap in terms of Jennifer L Armentrout's series where I'll just be like, no. Like the War of Two Queens or the Dark Element series. Those, for me, were misses, but there are a lot of hits, and I anticipate more as I read more. So I guess that's gonna be it for this video today, book lovers. If you happen to stay till the end of the video, leave me the, let's see, smiley face with the love hearts. I find that emoji so comforting. If you happen to stay till the end of the video, leave me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet already. Join the amazing community of book lovers, and also I have social medias. I'm at GSwizzleBooks on Twitter and Instagram, and I'm also at Goodreads. That's www.goodreads.com/GSwizzle, and finally, I'm at TikTok. I'm at GSwizzle on TikTok if you want to follow me there for some bookish content. I love you, book lovers, and I will see you later. Peace.
Started out with half and I flipped it in a double. Started out with half and I flipped it in a double.